don't think there's ever been a time where the Republican Party was so united.
The Republican Party has never been so unified as it is right now. I don't think we've ever had the spirit that we have right now in the Republican Party. I'll tell you, the Republicans are really strong, the strongest I've ever seen them. The Republican Party is the party for all Americans. We really are. We have changed this party so dramatically, folks.
Welcome back to Hardball. Over the past 3 years, President Trump has completed a thorough reshaping of the Republican Party in his own image. That is the argument that Stuart Stevens, the former chief strategist for Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign, makes in a scathing attack on what he says the GOP has become. He writes this, quote, "Republicans are now officially the character doesn't count party, the deficit doesn't matter party, the Russia is our ally party, and the I'm right and you are human scum party. Yes, it's President Trump's party now, but it stands only for what he has just tweeted. A party without a governing theory, a higher purpose, or a clear moral direction is nothing more than a cartel, a syndicate that exists only to advance itself." Stevens adds that the party no longer has, quote, "an organized, coherent purpose other than the acquisition and maintenance of power." Stevens ends by saying that President Trump, quote, "looked at the party, saw its fault lines, and then offered himself as a pure distillation of accumulated white grievance and anger." Stuart Stevens joins me now. He is currently advising a super PAC that is supporting William Weld's presidential campaign. Stuart, thanks for joining us. Let me start with a basic question then. Your indictment of Trump, your indictment of the Republican Party under Donald Trump, is it your contention that Donald Trump emerged and moved the Republican Party into a new and dark place? Or did Trump merely reveal and expose something that had been there for a while?
I'm afraid that Donald Trump exposed faults of the party that a lot of us ignored for too long. I mean, there's always been a tension within the conservative party since post-World War II. There was the McCarthy and there was Eisenhower. After you had the 64 race, where Goldwater seemed to take the party in one direction. That was a disaster. And the party came back. You know, I worked for both campaigns for Governor Bush, and we really believed that we were aspiring to something that was a conservative, a compassionate conservatism that could bring people together. We got up to over 40% of the Hispanic vote in 2004, won the popular vote for the first time since 1988. So there was this vision, and we certainly weren't perfect. I mean, we played too much on the dark side, I think, but we're aspiring to something that could make us proud and make us feel better. And Donald Trump, I think, just appeals to the worst within us all and manipulates that and has brought that out in the party.
So what happened in your party? You, as you said, you were the chief strategist for Mitt Romney. He ran in 2012, fell short against Barack Obama. I think we all remember this. When that campaign ended, the RNC put out, they called it the autopsy, their diagnosis of what was wrong. They said, got to move to the middle on immigration, on some of these social issues. It's the only way. And Donald Trump is a living, breathing rebuke of that autopsy. Ran for president, didn't have a single elected official in the Republican Party, member of Congress, I should say, endorse him until he started winning states. How did he get control of this party?
Well, he won the nomination and he won the presidency. I think that when Donald Trump came out for a Muslim ban back in February of 2016, which is really nothing but a religious test to enter the United States. How do you know if someone's Muslim or not? You have to ask what their religion is. The party should have stepped forward. I think Reince Priebus should have stepped forward, as he's done in other cases, and said, look, we can't stop Donald Trump from running, but this party does not stand for this. And we do not believe, we're still a constitutional party. We don't believe in religious tests. You know, ultimately, parties in our system have to perform a certain circuit breaker function. And the party never threw the circuit breaker. And I talked to a lot of Republicans then and tried to urge them to come out more. I mean, some did. Governor Romney, now Senator Romney certainly did. But there was, I think, a tremendous lack of courage. Now, part of the thinking was, when I would talk to people, they would say, look, sure, if we, the establishment, come out and put our thumb on the scale, and when Trump loses, we're going to get the blame. It's not going to be because he had terrible ideas. It's not because he was racist. It's not because all this alt-right stuff. We just have to let him lose, start over, let it wash out. And, you know, I would always ask, well, what if he wins? But I was never very good at arguing that because I didn't think he was going to win.
But did you, is part of this recipe, though, that you're saying the establishment here, let's use that word, did the establishment, are there valid reasons from the standpoint of the Republican base that they gave up on the establishment. Did they have legitimate were there any legitimate grievances with the Republican establishment? Was there a sense that, hey, these folks are paying lip service to us and, you know, Trump standing up to them and therefore he's doing something good here? Was that part of the recipe at all?
Well, you know, what is the establishment but whoever it is that wins? You're not the establishment if you lose. Donald Trump is now the establishment of the party. I mean, that's the reality of it. So really, you know, parties are just a voluntary collection of people that are drawn together by ideas and a sense of purpose. It's really, that's all that distinguishes it from like a bowling club. You have to believe in some sort of aspirational purposes. To me, it's not just that the party has abandoned its roots of character counts, personal responsibility, strong on Russia, deficit matters. We're now against all of those things. So in the 80s, you know, we said with Ronald Reagan, words can change the world. What a president says is so powerful, it can bring down the Berlin Wall. And now we say, well, look, words don't matter. It's just Trump. It's just a president. I mean, we've denigrated everything that we said that we believed in. And I think it is a terrible Faustian bargain. And what people forget about Mephistopheles is it's not just that he takes your soul, but he never delivers on what you want. So what do we have now? We have these record deficits. Unbelievable. You know, Mexico hasn't paid for a wall. Barack Obama was much tougher on immigration and more effective on immigration than Donald Trump is. What country is it around the world in which America is considered stronger? I think there'd only be two, possibly, Russia and Israel. And that's it. We have our allies literally laughing at us. And it's not a good thing. I mean, I feel like the Republican Party, in a way, it's like somebody smoking 2 packs a day, and they're arguing that smoking's healthy because they haven't died yet. I don't think it really works that way.
I hear you. We have just a short time. I wanted to ask you about this because all these things that have been written and talked about the last few years about where Trump's rise came from in the Republican Party. And again, you were chief strategist for Romney. I got to ask you, in 2012, your candidate, Mitt Romney, he sought Trump's endorsement. He received it. It was a pretty big press event. Take a look here at what happened back then.
It's my honor, real honor, and privilege to endorse Mitt Romney. Governor Romney, go out and get him. You can do it.
I want to say thank you to Donald Trump for his endorsement. It means a great deal to me to have the endorsement of Mr. Trump and people across this country who care about the future of America.
I just got to ask you, this was after years of the birther campaign that Trump had been waging, saying Obama wasn't even born in this country. Is that a moment that legitimized Donald Trump to Republicans?
I don't think Donald Trump was legitimized because he endorsed Mitt Romney. Look, you know, you're running for president, people endorse you, you tend to accept those endorsements. That was before the Nevada primary. He's actually got pretty good reputation in Nevada as a business owner. We did it. Looking back, was it a mistake? Sure. I think it was a mistake, but it's just really when, you know, Ronald Reagan had something, just because someone endorses me doesn't mean I endorse them. And Donald Trump wanted to play a much larger role in that campaign. I know that because I dealt with it. He wanted to leave Nevada traveling with Mitt Romney. He wanted to speak at the convention. He wanted to campaign in the fall. All of that he was said no to, but probably shouldn't have done it.
All right, Stuart Stevens, thank you for joining us. Excuse me, really appreciate it. Thank you. And up